There are many tools to block these things.
So, but don't they ask for in the interviews and what kind of tools you use for the backup or anything?
Oh, they do. Now all the backup tools work exactly the way we learned the backup.
Because it's not working.
Oh, okay. So
But then, yes, the tool that we're gonna normally companies are using many different type of tools. For example, in your company, do you know what tool they are using for backup? So ask your senior what tool they are using.
okay.
Many companies would use SCDPM. So we're gonna have a quick definition in SCCM. When we go through SCCM, we'll learn about. Yes.
Is file screening only limited to extension?
Sorry?
Is file screening
It's only limited to extension, yes. It's not intelligent enough to find out that if it is really an audit, it's really a music, it's really a audio or video file.
इसको delete करें शुरू से बनाना।
Classification management?
Yes.
Go back.
How do you go there?
So just classification management, right here.
Back then, yeah. Either right click and
Namani.
or
Right click.
Okay.
yeah, right click.
That's it.
Text document. Yeah. Press it. And now change the name to
Classification
music.
properties.
So classification rules.
Thank you.
Yes. Spell it.
Yeah.
Yes. Dot.
Create
Dot. No, don't click anywhere.
First
Dot.
we need
Type
to
in.
create a classification
Dot
property.
MP3.
Oh, okay.
Before you press enter, just note the type. Just note. You see the type? It's
So
file.
there is no
Text
classification
document right
property.
now.
But yes, we
Okay.
need to create a
Correct. Now press enter
classification
and see it will
property.
change the type. Press enter. Okay. Yes.
Okay, let everybody finish and
File
then.
type changes.
Okay.
Properties, yeah.
Now try to paste
So type
copy and
inside
paste it.
confidential. When you're creating a
here?
local property.
Yeah, just copy and paste. You paste it on the wrong folder.
Yeah.
That's alright. Just double click.
Yes. So it's like this. So when you.
accidentally paste it on the folder right below IT department.
Okay. Okay. So right here, this one.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move it out. Let's say I'm gonna cut it, and then I'm gonna just put it here. Okay, so the file is right here. So we can, in classification management, what happens is that we can, classification is that this file is confidential. You're just setting up a classification on certain file.
Management or properties?
So first of all, in order to go into classification management, you need to go into, first create a property and then apply a rule. So first we need to create, for example, if you create a rule, if you're trying to create a rule, it will give you an error message saying you don't have a property. So first of all, we need to create a property. So right click and create a local property, create a local property, and here we're gonna name it confidential. Confidential, and within property type is confidential, and it is already set for the value yes. So you just need to type the word confidential.
Remove the no.
Sorry,
Property type.
property type is leave as is, yes.
Okay. Value.
And now create a rule. So it has a value of yes or no.
Says yes.
Yes. Now we're gonna create a rule. Now remember this. Classification, you're about to classify a file being confidential. Okay? So here, first we need to create a property. We created a property of confidential. Now confidential is one property. We can create another property of top secret. We can create another property of important, another property of private. So these properties doesn't exist to start with. So we just created one property, and now we're gonna say the file we created earlier, that file is now confidential. So we're gonna apply this rule on a certain file. So here, let's create a rule, and in this rule, we're gonna say this is a rule for confidential files, it has a scope. So first of all, rule, and scope is application files. You can say all application files are confidential, okay? Or, so one more time I'm going to do this. So first of all, we created a local property. So local property was create a local property, okay? So if you have already created a property called confidential, you should see it right here. It should be the second line. There should be a property called confidential. Okay. Now if you have a property called confidential, then we're going to create a rule. Tim, what screen are you on? Are you on FSRM on this screen?
Yeah.
So are you?
Folder usage or what?
So you should be in classification properties. Are you in classification properties? So in classification property, do you see confidential? Create a confidential property and just say OK at the bottom.
That's okay?
Yeah.
Yes, just OK. And now create a rule. So now click on rule, the second one.
Oh,
Kadir, are you on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. And then here, right click and say create a rule.
okay.
Once you create a rule, then name the rule confidential files. Now what type of files are confidential? So we're going to go to scope. We can say all application files are confidential, or we can say all backup files are confidential, or all group files are confidential, or all certain user files are confidential. But here instead we're going to select a folder for this. So we're going to click add and select the IT department folder. Click add and then select the IT department folder. And then select the classification. So in the scope, actually I have to select this. I can go back. So in classification, it is already selected being confidential, yes, and then you click OK. Hold on, something is left. You have selected, yes, folder classifier. So folder classifier to be a confidential and press OK. So look at this one more time. In general, you just need to give a name. In scope, you just need to select IT department folder. And in classification, you just need to select folder classifier. So right here, classification, select folder classifier, and then click OK. Now it is everything that has that is in your folder. IT department is classified as, so here,
Confidential?
yes, confidential. Put a name as confidential. Did you make it?
I made an IT folder. How come it doesn't?
So click add.